I heard my sister-in-law bad-mouthing me and told my brother about it. I don't know what to make of his reaction. What offset this drama is that I had a real leather sofa sitting around the house that wasn't going to fit in the basement, so I offered it to my brother Jake. He said no, and I ended up donating it. Okay, very simple situation.
Yep. Makes sense.
When I was over at Jake's house for dinner last Sunday, I overheard my sister-in-law talking about me to someone over the phone. She was telling them about how I had the gall to tell Jake to take the sofa away without thinking about how he's supposed to move it or how it would fit into their tiny house, or how it'd be a money-losing business just so I can get rid of it in peace. She said I take their house as a garbage disposal bin and would always rub it in Jake's face that I make significantly more than him, that I'm a narcissist and a neat freak, and that if she was the one who made the kind of money I make, she'd never let her siblings live in poverty. Shame on me and a bunch of other things. Anyway, I stayed calm at the time, said goodbye to Jake, and went my way. After thinking about it, I decided to see where he stands with this. So I called him and asked whether he told his wife about the sofa. He said, "Why? Did you hear something?" And I was like, "Dude, just answer." He said, yeah, that he told her I wanted him to take the sofa and he refused to take it. I then said, "Listen, I heard her bad-mouthing me to someone over the phone the other day and it's not cool." I was about to tell him what I overheard when he interrupted me and said that he knows. She badmouths me to him, too. He said that he never told me anything because he didn't want any hard feelings between us. He said that she just doesn't like me and anything I would do would be criminal in her eyes. He told me not to take it to heart and that she's like that to almost everybody. Anyway, in the end, I told him, "Listen, just know I won't be going over to your house in the future if she's there," and he was cool with it. Now, why I'm here is because I don't know what to make of his reaction. He's my brother. I can't imagine he's been listening to this woman's bullshit and tolerating it for so long, nor how he would bring up me offering the sofa in conversation if he knows that she doesn't like me, right? What do you say?
Yikes.
I hate people like this.
Yeah. He's like, she just doesn't like you, and anything you do or have done is criminal or whatever.
Yeah.
But don't take it to heart. Excuse me.
How is he not standing up? Okay, what I want to know is like, why is the brother not standing up to the wife when she says this stuff about his sister? And also, when did it start? Because if it started when they were dating, I wouldn't marry someone that constantly talks shit on everyone, let alone my family members. And then if it started after they were married, I feel like he should have been standing up for her from day one.
That's so toxic because it's like if the person you're dating is bad-mouthing your loved ones, then they're essentially pulling you away from them.
Yeah.
That can be very dangerous in a relationship.
Yeah, agreed. I hate when people assume the worst of other people. I feel like that's happened to me in friendships in the past. Like there were multiple situations where I was friends with this girl and like through the grapevine, I heard her interpretation of multiple situations where I had good intentions or maybe I didn't have all of the information. And then she went and like told other friends like, "Oh, Kelly did this because of X, Y, and Z." And I'm like, that's not true. Like, she just assumed that.
Yeah.
And she assumed the worst of me.
Right.
When that was not true. And I just don't think I would do that to my friend. So I'm no longer friends with that person. Like, if you did something, if you offered a couch to me, I wouldn't be like, "Oh, Trisha's just trying to get rid of this couch and she thinks that I should just have to come and take it." No, I would assume the best of you because I know you and I love you. And I would assume that you were offering me something to try to help me. And I would assume that of all of my friends.
Right.
And so why are people assuming the worst of their friends or of their family members, especially if they don't have a reason to? So like the brother's wife is assuming the worst of OP based on what? Like it seems like it's based on nothing.
Yes.
Because Jake admits that she just hates her for no reason.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how can you live like that?
And she does that for everyone, apparently.
Yeah. Like, how can you live with a person where you can look at them and be like, I know that she just hates everyone and just talks shit on everyone, regardless of who they are. Like, why do you want to be with that person?
Right.
And why do you just let it go on?
I know. And that's got to be, like, so frustrating. I mean, I've met people like that, too, where, like, you know they're saying something bad about you, but it's behind your back.
Yeah.
And it's just so frustrating that you can't explain yourself or defend yourself.
Yeah.
And it's even more frustrating when like a close friend or loved one is present and they don't defend you either.
Yes.
It's so like infuriating. And then it gets back to you like, oh, so-and-so said this about you. And I'm like, okay, well, what did you say?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so frustrating.
It's also frustrating that you would even have to defend yourself.
Yes.
Like the relationship that I was just talking about, or the friendship, I should say, when I would hear these stories, like through other friends, they'd be like, oh, this is what she said about that situation. And I would be like, what? Like,
right.
And I would be like, oh, I wish I was there so I could be like, no, this is actually what's true. And then I'm like, no, I shouldn't have to be there. Like, my friends should be saying the best things about me and assuming the best of me, even when I'm not there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why do I have to like defend myself in order to look like a good person to my friend?
Yes.
Like, that's not what a friend does.
And then you're like walking on eggshells when you are with them because you don't know what's going to be interpreted as evil from you. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, if she thinks that you offering your brother a couch is you like
dumping on them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's like the simplest of things.
Right.
Like, imagine what story she's going to come up with when life gets more complicated, when there's kids involved, or when your family members are sick or whatever. Like, this is a couch. This is an object. But like, when it comes to more complicated things, like, I don't even want to be associated with someone like this.
No.
Yeah, that's tough. But at the end, OP's question was, now I don't know what to make of my brother's reaction. He's been tolerating her BS. Why would he bring up me offering the sofa in conversation if he knows that she doesn't like me, right? I kind of feel like, in a way, that question is doing what the wife is doing. Like, she's almost like, did my brother have bad intentions? Like, why would he do that? Let's assume the best of your brother if you trust him, and he has shown you through other situations that you can trust him and that he does make the right decisions and he does the right thing most of the time. Let's assume that he had good intentions. I feel like that question is now irrelevant.
Right.
So even if he had good intentions and you still didn't like the outcome, instead of being like, well, why would you do that? Be like, oh, well, I'm sure you had good intentions in telling her she's your wife. You're just keeping your communication open and honest. But maybe in the future, you can just not bring up irrelevant things to her when it involves me or something like that. Like, assume the best of him for that situation and just say, in the future, maybe let's just not even spend time thinking about the irrelevant situations like couches.
Right.
And see what he says to that.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he had bad intentions, just like asking his wife, like, should we take this couch that my sister is offering us?
I know. I love when people offer me stuff.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's very thoughtful, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's sustainable.
So sustainable.
Yeah. I was going to say he sounds like he's just a little dumb.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I think assuming the best of him is like a better route to take, where he just like had good intentions. I was thinking he just had no intentions. He just wasn't thinking.
I think that's probably the most likely.
Yeah.
He had no intentions.
But yeah, definitely, like, in the future, if you know she's going to get mad at something, don't bring it up to her.
Yeah.
Like, she's your wife, so you know she doesn't like me, so just don't say anything about me.
Exactly.
Anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. I also think the wife is just insecure. Because if she's sitting there like, and she makes more money than us, and like she always rubs it in our faces and blah, blah, blah. It's like, unless you actually are doing that, like rubbing wealth in their faces, like, she is just insecure and she's trying to find a problem with anything.
Yeah. I know, to call her a narcissist for offering them a couch is a little out there.
I know. She is just looking for the worst in every situation, and it's not someone that I would want to spend time with.
No.
And OP said that she's not going to. She's not going to go over their house if the wife is there. So
yeah, I think that's a good move. And it was responsible of her to communicate that with her brother.
Yeah.
Just like, I'm just putting it out there, like, I'm not going to come over, instead of just like all of a sudden stopping.
That's a good point.
Communication and stuff.
Yeah.
And then have him being like, what's going on here? Yeah.
That's
I think that was a good move.
Yeah. I'd say don't think too far into it, because you did everything right up until thinking deeper about your brother's intentions. Yeah. I think it's all good.
Yeah.
Just avoid the wife whenever possible, like you said you were going to. Ew, people suck.